G'day, it's Shane here from Grape TV, and thank you for joining me again at my home bar. But more importantly, thank you for helping me bring McLaren Vale wines to the world. Today, I've got a bit of a toy to play with. Lovely family for Christmas bought me a Vinturi for me to try, and I'm actually going to share the very first try with you here on Grape TV. What I am going to do is use a wine from Braydun Hill, the 2004 Premium Hand-Picked Shiraz from McLaren Vale. Braydun Hill, lovely small vineyard, actually on the Adelaide side of the Onkaparinga River, on the outskirts, if you like, of McLaren Vale. Normally where somebody would consider McLaren Vale is, but a lovely vineyard, and the husband and wife team that put this together are dedicated to Shiraz. And in McLaren Vale, there's not much better than dedicating oneself to Shiraz. Now, the reason I've chosen this wine for this trial is, as a 2004, one would expect you need this wine to breathe. You've just seen me open this wine, so I'm going to try it first without the Vinturi, and we'll see how they compare. So 2004, 6 years in the bottle. So let's do the wanky thing. So giving a decent swirl just to make sure I give it some airing. Now, right off the bat, Satsuma plum. Very strong Satsuma plum. It's that wonderful McLaren Vale environment for Shiraz. Most of the quality McLaren Vale Shiraz will have that Satsuma plum aroma. Now, there is some other stuff in there. Maybe a little anise licorice. And there's some oak nuances in there, but reasonably hard to pick up. Okay, highly enjoyable wine there. Lots of structure, lots of flavour. That Satsuma plum comes through. There's a whole range of dark fruit, so it's like a dark fruit compote. There's just a hint of vanilla. So I'm assuming they're American oak. And there is 40% American oak used in this wine. Yeah, there is some of that anise coming through just a little bit, and really not lovely dry tannin finish. Not tooth drying as I've described on many other occasions, but a nice tannic finish that just brings the whole wine together. So after tasting that, now I want to try this. Now, I understand you're not going to be able to see the Vinturi that well when I do it. I'm actually going to run some wine through the Vinturi at the end of this so you can get a decent look at it. So here we go. This is quite exciting. The first, well, it makes lots of noise. Certainly soaked up. Certainly aerated some wine there. Now, that is distinctly more aromatic, and I'm not just saying that because I'm using the Vinturi. Those Satsuma plum characters in particular are coming through a little bit more, probably more distinct with the blackcurrant, but this time licorice, anise, and it's interesting, there's a little hint of almost mintiness coming through on this wine. which I certainly didn't expect from a Shiraz, more from Cabernet. So even just from that, quite a change in the aromatics. So let's see what the flavours are like. I think just the best way to describe that is just more of everything. It's much more distinct. Before there was more subtle flavours, particularly the anise, licorice. I'm actually getting some mintiness on the palate as well. I must admit that's quite surprising. Quite surprising. Now I'm going to lift this up and show you what happens with the wine. So you pour the wine in through here. It does have a little capture arrangement, little sieve arrangement to capture any solids in the wine. Goes through here, and there's two on either side here and here is structures that as the wine pours through here, it's actually sucking in air as a Vinturi. So that's where the Vinturi comes from. So there's a Vinturi arrangement sucking in the air on these two just small holes either side, so able to draw some air in, and it really gives it a bit of froth and bubble. But as I said, I will put some wine through there in a minute to show you. Quite an interesting effect, I must admit. More than what I initially thought it would. So by pouring it through there, I probably saved myself an hour or two in the breathing stakes, and hey, made a difference in such a small period of time. So look, that's all we have time for Moated Grape TV this week. Don't go away, because I will do a close-up of the wine going through the Vinturi, so you can see what it looks like. But it's certainly been a pleasure bringing you my new toy. I'm sure I'm going to use this more often, and again and again. So that's all for me. Have a great week. All right, we'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye. So here we go. Put some wine through the Vinturi. Can you hear that? Really sucking it in. And it's interesting to note, when the level gets low in here, actually wine starts coming out these two holes slightly, so it needs that flow of wine going through it, which of course is what a Vinturi is all about. So yeah, very interesting, and again, I hope you can see and hear what exactly it's doing.